Today we're going to be talking about Nikola Motors' billion-dollar fraudulent exit plan. Make sure you stay until the end so you don't miss out on what this strategy is. You're going to be absolutely shocked. Background: a relentless Tesla rally pressured General Motors and other legacy automakers to catch up. Tesla's relentless rally has no doubt been the underlying story for the electric vehicle market in 2020. The underlying narrative for the electric vehicle market in 2020 has undoubtedly been Tesla's relentless rally, which recently rounded off in the company being valued with a market cap of over $400 billion at its peak. More than time-tested names like GM, Ford, Daimler, and Fiat combined. Tesla produces extensive proprietary technology, which removed any traditional automakers and suppliers out of its picture, quite unlike Nikola. Other auto manufacturers such as General Motors have been under pressure to unlock similar value from the continuing EV wave due to the enormous rise in Tesla's valuation. In August 2020, Deutsche Bank and Morgan Stanley Analysis urged General Motors to develop its business in electric vehicles, stating that a move dedicated to EV could be worth up to $100 billion. GM CEO Mary Barra said at the time that nothing is off the table, which appeased analysis and was able to win a price-targeted boost from Morgan Stanley shortly afterwards. What of Trevor Milton? Allegations which stated that the company is an intricate fraud led Trevor Milton, the youngest newcomer on Forbes' 400 billionaires list, to step down from the Nikola Corporation, the electric and hydrogen truck startup that he had founded. The sudden separation from the company came just 10 days after Hindenburg Research, a financial research firm, had taken a short position in Nikola, where they issued an in-depth and critical report that alleged that Milton had performed a number of fraudulent acts to facilitate the company to achieve its $20 billion valuation. Nikola is truly in my blood, and always will be, and the focus should be on the company and its world-changing mission, not me, Milton said in a statement. So, I made the difficult decision to approach the board and volunteer to step aside as executive chairman. Founding Nikola and growing it into a company that will change transportation for the better and help protect our world's climate has been an incredible honor. Milton was beginning to draw attention to himself as the next Elon Musk, and as such it was a dramatic change in fortune as Nikola was on its way to propel the emerging EV truck market. Milton founded the company in 2015 with the goal of making hydrogen and electric-powered semi-trucks for long-distance hauling. It also unveiled the Badger, a passive pickup truck it said could get 600 miles of range on an FCEV/BEV battery blend and do 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds. For a brief period, Nikola had emerged as a poster child of the new generation of EV startups as it scored huge Wall Street valuations on the heels of Tesla's stock price skyrocketing past every other car company. The company went public with the SPAC, an old Wall Street tool that's been big again in the electric car world, gaining a valuation of $34 billion early on. Things began to evolve quickly as Nikola announced a strategic partnership and investment from General Motors earlier this month. Things, however, began to spiral downwards as Hindenburg Research admitted a short seller position in the company. They alleged that much of the company's assumed exclusive vehicle technology was not its own, that prototypes used in promotional materials were not actually functional, that the company exaggerated the number of reservations it currently holds, and that Milton's brother, despite his most recent job becoming a contractor in Hawaii, was placed in charge of building out the company's hydrogen infrastructure. And although Milton and his team have rebutted Hindenburg's claims, they did not dispute all of them, and in the process, more questions were raised than were actually answered. The US Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission have both since opened investigations into the company, as even though Milton and Nikola had denied the allegations in the report, that they had conceded in one statement that Nikola had rolled a non-running truck down a hill for misleading in-motion video ads that were released in 2018. As for GM, they claim that the deal with Nikola is still ongoing and that they had proceeded with conscientiousness on the deal before it happened. Though, as the Detroit Free Press and other outlets point out, the current situation is more of a PR black eye for GM than an outright financial risk, given the size of the investment. Even without its founder, Nikola is now required to deliver on the deal in order to prove that it has a sustainable future. Making cars is not a walk in the park, and if it fails, the situation is further proof that the EV startup world is often unpredictable, and Wall Street investors with dreams of easy Tesla-level money would probably never admit to its truth. What exactly happened to Nikola? In the wake of the September 12th Hindenburg report, it was registered that the company had been withdrawing their statements. There were mainly bad aspects of the company that Hindenburg, as a short seller, an investor that bets on decreasing stocks, was motivated to reveal. Probably the most scandalous of this being that Nikola admitted it had staged a demo with video footage, Nikola 1 in motion, of the Nikola 1 tractor, the cab and propulsion system of an 18-wheeler rolling down a hill, seemingly under power. In reality, it was simply rolling down a hill, as trucks are meant to when you take your foot off of the brakes. The company addressed this, declaring, Nikola never stated that his truck was driving under its own propulsion in the video. More questions were raised about Nikola in light of evidence that the company was sourcing crucial technology from third-party suppliers, even though they had previously claimed that the technologies were in-house inventions. It was discovered that a company known as Quesadilla were the manufacturers of the power inverters that Nikola had claimed they had developed. The Hindenburg report says that the Nikola Tre tractor was a non-working Nikola 1 with H2 and zero-emission hydrogen electric painted on the cab. These discoveries led to a transition of leadership with the board of directors announcing Stephen Gursky, a former vice chairman of GM and Nikola board member, as chairman of the Nikola board. Reconfirms plans. In an announcement on Wednesday, Nikola reconfirmed that it intends to test out its battery electric Nikola Tre semi-trucks in Europe by the end of this year, which will be followed by production in the fourth quarter of next year. The company also announced that plans to construct a plant in Arizona remains on track for it to begin manufacturing activity in 2022, followed by additional work on the facility in 2023. Nikola has also expressed it hopes to partner with another company on hydrogen fuel cell stations by the end of the year and to break ground on first hydrogen fuel stations in the second quarter of 2021. It also plans to start testing its fuel cell semi-truck in 2022, with production beginning in late 2023. The coordinated press release and executive interviews are a contrast from the company's previous media strategy of making grand proclamations over Twitter. It's something investors should continue to expect going forward, according to the executives. Exit strategy? In the aftermath of the Hindenburg report that revealed the false claims of Nikola, JP Morgan Chase still reiterated its buy rating. This has led to speculation that Chase was in on the fraud. JP Morgan Chase owns Nikola stock, and as a result, it would be in their best interest to issue a buy rating on Nikola stock in order for them to have profitability. In addition, the response of GM was similarly one-sided. GM CEO Mary Barra claims that she did her due diligence and is now requesting more stake in Nikola. GM's stake and Nikola quickly fell from $2 billion to $1.1 billion. So, of course, the only logical decision from a materialistic CEO's perspective is to obtain more free money. The underlying ethics of executives tend to crop up at times like this, as even though their partner has been proved to be fraudulent, big corporations are still ready to support the likes of Nikola. The remaining executives in the company still have a large stake in Nikola Motors that is worth millions, if not billions of dollars. Funnily enough, these executives are actually receiving more stocks as a quote-unquote award for keeping the valuation of Nikola Motors at a certain level. Mark Russell, the current CEO, has received 600,000 shares that is worth $14.4 million as an award. In total, Mark has over 41 million shares of Nikola that is worth roughly $1 billion. Yes, you heard that right, $1 billion. Kim Brady, the CFO of Nikola, has $7.6 million worth of stock as of this moment, and Britton Worthen, the CLO, has $7.2 million of stock. Yet this stock is worthless to them right now because they can't sell their shares until December 21st, which is when the lockup on the shares expire. It would be wise to remember December 21st, as all of these shares would come flooding out into the market and the valuation of Nikola will literally go downhill. There is no doubt that many, if not all of these nuclear executives and large shareholders are desperately awaiting the arrival of December 21st, so that they could dump their shares on the open market and run away with hundreds of millions of dollars. Nikola executives seem to be working on another strategy to keep the company out of the limelight by opting to stay out of the media eye. They would no doubt want to create the perception that they are focusing on delivering on their deal, as the media would have nothing to focus on. But in all honesty, this is clearly not true. Nikola executives are waiting on their hundreds of millions of shares. Over the past few days, they have attempted to silence online critics such as Sam Alexander and Tom Nash. Both of these YouTubers have received copyright strikes for using footage of the Nikola 1 in motion, despite the clip being used fairly. While you are here, go ahead and click on one of these videos on your screen. See you there!